So future prices on vehicles, even the really popular ones, are going in a particular direction, and the least popular ones are also going in an interesting direction. So let's start with the popular models. Super popular models like the Ford Bronco, the Ford Maverick. Let's get those back up on screen. So back on screen here, you've got your really popular models, and you've got your least popular models that have, the Ford Mustang Mach-E with quite a few days of inventory on the market. The Lightning is going to be moving towards a lot of days on market. And even these vehicles aren't dropping tremendously in price. Now, of course, the Lightning, it appears like there's a huge price drop, but really they're just going back to their 22 pricing. Because in 2022, this thing came out with a price for 2021 and 2022. Huge price increase at the end of 2022 for the 23 model. And then they just scaled it back because they saw that they're going to be collecting dust on these Ford F-150 Lightnings, just like they did with the Ford Mustang Mach-E. Huge price increase, huge price decrease. And that's just to say that models with a lot of days in inventory just aren't going to go up in price. That is the future auto market for us. Even models that truly help manufacturers avoid huge taxes or, the whole carbon credit. If you're not nearing 50 miles per gallon every year, it's a little more hard to meet because they're raising that mile per gallon average. The rules are harder to meet if you're still selling gas vehicles that aren't, a plug-in hybrid or a traditional hybrid. Basically, every automaker needs to have a fleet average someday, very soon, of 50 miles per gallon. There's already consequences for being way off the mark. We've seen Dodge pay, billions of dollars, and their option was pay billions, many billions in taxes, just like how there's taxes here in Canada on cigarettes, on certain beverages, and on fuel, while the manufacturers themselves are being taxed. So car companies really want to sell these electric vehicles because it dramatically increases your mile per gallon fleet average. It helps all your vehicles appear to be better for the environment. So even at that, Ford, and that's why a lot of these electric companies, especially Ford, they're willing to lose. Ford says they lose $32,000 on every Ford F-150 model, electric, as well as the Mach-E, an average of a loss of $32,000. And that's because, and they're willing to make it because it's still better than paying billions of dollars either to the government or buying tax credits from Tesla for billions of dollars. And of course, this helps Tesla post even bigger profits. It helps them lower their prices more, making it so that these guys, all the other electric makers who are also producing gas vehicles, have to do a combination of two things: drop the price on their electric vehicle and increase the price on their gas-powered vehicles that take up a lot of fuel, because they need to bring down that fleet mile per gallon average. This is why gas guzzling, you could call it the gas guzzling tax, gas guzzlers are going to become more and more expensive as time increases, because the mile per gallon fleet average threshold, that minimum you need to make to avoid billions of dollars in either fines or billions of dollars paid for carbon credits, are going to go up more and more as time goes forward. So that's the reality. We're going to show you that through the F-150 gas-powered edition. I'm going to physically show that to you in a moment, but right now we're just covering where future prices in general are going. So you can expect that, bought that on the week just recently, bought my second Porsche 911. But gas-priced vehicles are definitely going to be going up. Now, we can see that sales are continuing to go up otherwise. But sales, inventory has gone up. It's inventory is 41% higher than it was a year ago, but sales on average are only 10% higher than a year ago. So you can see that 30% divide shows you that while sales have increased, they're not matching the inventory increase. There's a 30% discrepancy, and as a result, the car market has flipped. You can catch the other episode that we have on this topic to really to hear more about it, or if you're in the live, you caught it just earlier. So please do like and subscribe, share this material with people, and turn the bell notifications on to help feed and dress those poodles, as well as take care of this small business, small family. Thank you so much to the car community for being very supportive of us. Now, there's a discrepancy, roughly 30% discrepancy between days in inventory, meaning if a manufacturer, if all their dealers received no new vehicles, it would take them a certain amount of days to sell all their current vehicles on the lot. Dodge is playing at a very scary 186 days of inventory, and that's because Dodge isn't going back to reach the customer base that they've always had. People looking for the lowest cost vehicle, not necessarily the most reliable, often some of the most powerful vehicles. So reliability at Dodge on average isn't fantastic. The power is incredible. The price is incredible. Please don't be offended by the facts that I spew your way, because I'm all about saying the real deal so that nobody gets fooled. And there's pros and cons, highs and lows to every make and model and to every manufacturer. But it's just a fact, Dodge isn't as reliable. Great at making power, great on pricing. But you can see from the chart behind me that we're in a general increase year over year from a year ago on every model, but not as much as inventory. So prices, companies are still selling more. So far, having this inventory increase has been quite beneficial and needed because, well, there weren't vehicles on lots a year ago. This 30% discrepancy is needed and still desirable from companies, unless you're heading at the Dodge end of the scale of, having the highest number of days in inventory at 186. That's starting to be scary. They're going to need to fold their cards soon. They are going to need to be dropping prices by 10 to 15% along with Jeep and Chrysler if they want to survive. So let's see if we've got the little chart that I can throw on for this here. No chart. You'll just have to, if you're on last live we had 2 weeks ago, you probably do remember that chart sitting in the background. You can expect deals, should get deals from companies with high days in inventory because they're in a weak negotiation spot. Whereas Toyota and Honda, they're at a very high negotiation spot. You'll probably pay over MSRP for those new vehicles because they don't have very many days in inventory. So there are definitely some models that are, you could say, suffering more than others because they've got crazy numbers, crazy days in inventory. We're going to be talking about Save the Manuals shortly, but future prices, to put in a nutshell, to really conclude, if you've got a love for gas-powered vehicles, do expect prices to go up. If the vehicle's not making 50 miles per gallon, it's at the detriment of the manufacturer, and the price of that vehicle is going to go up because the manufacturer needs less people buying the gas guzzlers, and they need a whole lot more people buying either the electric vehicles, the plug-ins, or the hybrids. So I'm sorry if you're not on that bandwagon for the electrified vehicles. You're going to be disappointed if you plan on buying in a few years. I'd say buy right now. So let's do a little build and price here. If you build and price a 2023 Ford F-150 in Canadian dollars, an XLT Sport, so basically the image we have here, if you try to build that right there as a 2023, you're going to be playing around 73 for a 6.5-foot box, $73,000 to roughly $76,000. But what's going on with the 2024? For the 2024, we build out the same vehicle and it's rough. We end up same vehicle and we're going to be playing around $83,000. So big price increase. Let's check it out right here. Let's see. This is for the 2023. So $73,250. Now stick with us because this is an example. This is going to be your proof. So take my word for it. This is the end of the episode for you. If you're in the live, you're going to see it play out. But if you're at the end of the episode, do know, try building your own 2024 Ford F-150. Comment, what do you think is going to be the price? If we're looking at 73,000 Canadian, works out to about the same US. Do you think we're looking at an extra $5, $10, $15,000? Are we looking at an extra $2,000? Let's try to get to the Build and Price website, US, as we get into the next episode.